It should be visible to all. Because it's literally just adding a mask on top of the map.
Share it with me.
Tales of our endeavors proliferate.
I think you need to actually have your character loaded to see it.
No, you can share and I'd see it. I do see it, and that is a really cool thing.
I see it. It's already... Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. There's also a time of day one. I can increase the intensity of the rain as well.
Oh, crap. What's the weather like outside? Hurricane.
What's the night vision like? Ooh, that's creepy.
Ooh. Wind.
Now this is mist. It's just going by really fast, apparently. Because this is blizzard.
That looks like a blizzard.
I do see it. Yes. Accuracy.
No?
Also, I found Dova.
It's not saying vague. Vague.
Well, he's saying something incomprehensible.
I've come up with the perfect name for my rock.
Oh.
Yep, I've set their name on Fantasy Grounds.
Oh god. Stanogi, you better look at the character list.
Oh, get raged because he doesn't exist anymore.
I'm sorry, what? Did something happen to the boy?
Well, no, it's his soul got obliterated, so like he literally does not exist.
Oh.
That's what that dagger did.
Yeah.
I, as a player, that's funny.
By the way, Magna, would you give yourself an icon, please?
Oh yeah, how do I do that?
Just double click on the portrait box on your sheet. There's a bunch of built-in ones. Please use one of them. If none of them really fit, there is a question mark one at the bottom of the whatever folder this is, FG Fantasy.
What if you have an outside temp photo? Can you upload that, or you just want to use the fantasy ground ones?
Just the Fantasy Ground ones.
It's not a liability that way.
That's exactly the reason.
I'll keep my Discord item picture the same then.
That's fine.
I'm gonna try something different this game and have my notes on a word pad.
I use a WordPad. I've used WordPad for other games, but I use Google Docs for this game.
I will have to set one of those up. My keyboard wet.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the stream. I am Raw Zim, and this is Darkening Skylands Pathfinder. Sorry, I'm a little late on starting up, but here we are. Let's go ahead and get into the game. Kerr, why don't you give us the recap, please?
We have all recently made to the capital. We are here, at least you and I, aka Aureus and Kalani are here to see the king and queen about some trade agreements, along with Rock. And we met some people in the tavern while we were waiting
A
the night
resplendent
before our
offering.
meeting.
Oh,
Thank you so very much for that donation, Toshime. I hugely appreciate it. But yeah.
And then the city was attacked by an army of goblins, hobgoblins, what looked like a skeletal dragon, I believe, and giants. And we went out to take care of one of the squads of goblins, and we were able to do so together. And that's where we ended off.
indeed. You had quite the, well, I wouldn't call it a hard-fought battle, but it was certainly pressing enough with the, artillery raining down around you and the need to add one of the commanders quickly. You all managed to return to Captain Farron intact. Physically. Sub's mental faculties are called into question. Not looking at you at all. There. Dewey. Sorry. Either way, you briefed Captain Farron of the situation. He informed you that you would be meeting the king tomorrow. He noted that Kalani was already here to see the king if anyone else was paying attention.
Yeah.
To receive your reward. You were told that your night at the Armstrong Tavern was all expenses paid. So it is now free time up until that point. The trance back to the Talon is, well, rather silent compared to the uproar that the attack had caused. The only clamor seems to be coming from up north in the slums where there's fires to be put out, and
I would head on north to try to help out, considering I can use create water.
that's fine. I was going. Sorry, I was getting to a point, and then I was going to ask what you people were doing. So, the most heavily damaged parts seem to be both the northern section. Well, aside from the large cliff top that you see overshadowing the wall in the distance, the further north you go, that seems to be relatively intact. And the area around the Colosseum, which you're in, was quite close to. The Colosseum itself having taken a few rocks straight into the walls. But yeah, like I said, there are a few fires and cries for help in the north. So if you do want to go help, then as soon as you announce that you could create water, the city guard would be glad for your help, as there's not quite enough people to both man the wall in case the army comes back and see to various emergency services like fire service and everything. What exactly are you doing, and how are you going about it?
Either directing the water onto the fire itself, or helping bucket brigades filling the water so they can do it right at the site.
Balani will also be helping out with his telekinesis, as he can, lift water up and put it where it's most needed.
Ah,
Else gonna help out? Sorry, I'm just getting my cheat sheet.
I was chewing. I would say after Dewey got done doing the stuff that me and you talked about, she would go over and help.
This would be before you
Oh.
did the stuff. This is this is
Before?
the night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she would go over and help.
Because you don't really have off time to go into a library if you're just returning.
Because I too can create water.
Okay.
Great water buddies!
Woohoo!
As basically we just make it rain over small areas. Basically each building gets its own rain storm. Couple of
And
seconds.
I would suggest that given that you actually what's your intelligence modifiers, you two? This is not for casting. This is just a general.
Plus
What's
4.
your +4?
13.
And 13.
And then I got an 18 normal.
I would say that normally, yeah, you would consider that the more intelligent move would be light rain as well as helping fill the buckets, because if you just direct jets of water at the fire, you could cause building collapses and for the fire to spread more, because the well, we'll just say that the buildings are pretty ramshackled enough that you. Yes.
In regards to that, I can actually hold like 500 pounds with my mind. So I can hold up sections of buildings, or at least a small section enough to keep it from collapsing. I also have my air element, which I could probably use to just pull the air out of the area where the fire's at, thus, killing it.
Yeah. The telekinesis, like, if you explain to, like, the various guards acting as emergency services there, they would more want your help in the, the areas where siege weapons hit. Because obviously there's places that are collapsed in and there's people that are trapped there, and your power would be handy in, helping dig people out.
I'll
if
help
that's
wherever
acceptable.
it's needed.
Okay. So, the fires are pretty intense for the most part. However, between your combined efforts and the efforts of the services, you managed to get things down to smoldering embers. Things dim down, and the only illumination comes mostly from the actual city lights near the center of the city. Being that there's been a swath of devastation from siege weaponry in this area, there's not a lot of lanterns that are lit, considering mostly everybody was dealing with fire and rain and everything. Siddle, you personally managed... Siddle? Wow. Went back to echoes there. Kalani, you personally managed to actually save a couple of families. There was a husband, you would say it's a rather deer-looking individual, but they don't seem to have antlers. You can't quite remember the name of the species, but they're like the husband of that family had been completely trapped under a collapsed floor as he'd gotten his child out, a daughter of 13 years, and the family couldn't stop thanking you enough when you managed to free him. He's not going to be able to use his leg for a little while, but that's nothing that, time and a bit of healing can't fix.
I could do that right now. I can cast healing spells if I was over there with them.
Well, healing spells are only good for emergency treatment. Like, there's still... I don't know, well, out of character, I don't know if you know this, but I am very much out what's the word? I very much like to think that healing is not the be-all and end-all of like tabletop RPGs. Like it's good for sealing up immediate wounds, but like more complicated things like broken bones and stuff like that take time to mend. So if that's okay with you.
I personally like that kind of idea. Though for me, it would take a slightly more advanced spell to fix up a broken bone or such. But I
like
feel that
I'm down with that.
Like a healing spell would make it so he could at least somewhat walk on it, but running or anything too strenuous and it might snap again kind of idea.
You could make it so that you can basically walk with a bit of support.
Real quick, I do want to say for everybody on the stream and stuff, I've got, I think it's some kind of infection in my lungs from my CPAP. I had some bad water that was put in there, and it kind of got, the infection in there got pumped into my lungs, and so I'm a bit sick today, so that's why I'm sounding a bit off. Just wanted to put that out there for the chat and such, because they're talking about it. I'll be alright. Just, I'm a bit off today.
But yeah, like, Arlius, you'd be able to fix it up so that you could, half walk, half hop with some support. But he's gonna need to a bit of rest and some medical care before he can run, tap dance. Not that many people in the slums tap dance, but yeah.
Okay.
But they are very thankful for the help.
Tree.
Cobalt, you're very quiet.
Hello.
Hello.
Is that better?
A bit.
My-
I can
It's
turn
hard-
you up a little bit on my end.
Cool. It seems like my mic needs to be right in front of my face for it to be hearable.
Did you have anything to add? Because you were a little bit late.
Oh no, I've been listening. Hold on. Acknowledgezix is not the stopping fires type of guy.
No, he's more of the starting fires type of guy.
Exactly.
Well,
But that usually gets me kicked out of parties, out of cities. So maybe not this time.
So the guards thank you in the only way that they can. And the each of you get 150 gold for helping stop the most of the disaster.
Sweet.
So, it's not much, but it's
Is that
You know,
all
some-
of us, or those that helped?
Wait.
Wait.
Those that help for now, because I'll get to Ignaldrisix later. This is basically part of the donation goal. Yeah, donation goal. So
Was this for the fire or for the whole thing?
for the whole thing, that's up to the king. I've already got a reward package for you guys that will be delivered by the king, but that's not for a while. So
Oh, so I don't get that. Do I get that gold then?
nope, not right
Okay.
now. I'll find a way to slot it in later on.
All right.
But yeah, each of you that helped got 150 gold. Magna, you've been very silent. Are you okay?
Oh yeah, just that other people talked and I don't want to interrupt.
All right.
So Kalani and Arlius. Did anyone else help?
Kalani, Arlius, and Dewi
Oh, right. She also creates water.
Yeah.
I make it rain.
We're in a port town. I think organizing the citizens that are not specifically part of the fire force would be effective too. Since
That's true.
probably the first
Uh,
instinct would be to everyone
Getting
go
the-
to a bucket, but it would be more effective to organize teams of those who fill buckets and those who deliver buckets.
Also, just getting people down to the warehouses around the docks would be the safest thing because currently the buildings are, either on fire
yes.
or collapsing. Well,
Yes.
they're starting to be put out now, but yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to
If
check
you-
the gut. Sorry.
If you two take part in that, hint hint, then you can get your share.
Oh, certainly. I was just thinking it might be best to organize the panicking citizens for more general effectivity.
Sure. Ignotus likes ordering people around.
Sorry, every time I hear someone mention the word panic now, all I can think of is the panic meme.
Yes. But certainly.
If you like, Kerr, could you also give me a healing check so that you can perform some first aid and other stuff on some of the people?
I can just cast my spells.
Well, surely you don't have an unlimited amount of spells.
I have 3 I can use right now.
I think it's more first aid for saving spells. Because that's a lot of people that might need healing.
That was very close.
That's good enough to treat deadly wounds. So yeah, that's a really good roll.
I can use channel energy, so I can heal. If we gathered everyone up within 30 feet of me, I would be able to heal dozens of people.
Yep. So you help with a healing touch, so to speak. There seems to have been a small relief center moved into one of the open roads. They obviously making it in a road is not ideal, but making it away from the buildings was the first concern of the people that were setting up triage. And that happened to take you a few hours into the night. The moon is very high in the sky. If we were to talk in real terms, it's a little bit past midnight. What are you guys doing?
I'd probably be working throughout the night trying to help as many people as I possibly could.
Well,
The fires are out and stuff, and the most immediate concerns are taken care of. It's mostly just combing over things to try and find more people, which is probably best done by daylight, is what the guards will tell you. But you are free to stay if you wish. But you guys do know that there are in rooms waiting for you, should you choose, that are free for tonight.
certainly. But I think I'll do a once over by the dock to make sure nothing was lost to the water in this mad dash.
All right. Give me a perception check.
Okay. Perception.
$17. All right. The only thing that seems to have been affected is a few dozen crates that looked like they were being loaded onto nearby ship have been spilled over into the ocean itself.
Kalani, for the record, after he is satisfied with the work that he's been doing, he will retire to the inn room for the night.
All right, that's fair enough.
I'll probably make sure everyone who can be treated is at least given basic aid before heading to bed afterwards.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the people that have lost their houses for now can only stay around the triage center. There's no like emergency accommodation set up for these people. But yeah. Like I said, Magna, some crates of cargo have spilled out into the ocean, and one of the cranes is completely like, well, the only thing I could describe it as is face flat into the ocean, slightly held aloft by the very backmost bindings it had to the dock. That is going to take at least a dozen people or heavy magic to raise back up, though.
Right. Then, in that case, I'd probably best just get some rope and tie them around the boxes. After affixing them to one of the docks to make sure they don't float away into the night. Since I don't think I can lift a cargo box out of the water myself.
Not without some serious leverage.
Yeah, no. So, just hold them in place with a rope seems like the best option.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
All right. Darn.
You have a bit of difficulty, forming a loop and a knot around the rope in order to, toss it around the boxes entirely. It takes you a few tries, but eventually you manage to secure them as well as you can. You're not sure if it'll hold up if anything, strong happens to like a strong wave, like a really strong wave or something, or a boat knocks into them. But you're relatively sure that they won't float away.
Well, that's the best I can manage. I'll get back to the.
All right. Then, with the city no longer being on fire and no further things to do, you all retire to Armstrong's inn for the evening. Armstrong himself appears to have gone to bed. The front of the inn is left open as there are a couple of guards stationed just outside. It appears... well, actually, do you ask them anything?
I'd ask about the general state of the city, as citizens are maybe better informed.
The only thing that they said is they've been ordered to keep watch on the inn, because there were a couple of noble estates that were hit, and the nobles begrudgingly were forced to move into the establishment because the other nobles shut their houses and wouldn't, let the nobles stay with them.
I see.
So yeah, the most of the other rooms have been rented out to these nobles. You guys were lucky enough to have your rooms rented out by the city, so nobody could argue there.
Question: are their estates vacant at the moment or under supervision? I'd imagine they're under supervision.
Their estates are under supervision by their staff. Unfortunately, it seems the staff won't be getting any sleep tonight as they must comb through the estates for belongings.
Yes. No, I should behave. Some other time, then.
If that will be all, we are supposed to be on lookout here.
Right, yes, thank you. Dewi, was it? What? Was
Wait.
that it? Dewey, that's it. Dewey. Is there a word for justified robbery?
Protective collectioning, taxes, technically.
I guess. Very good, very good.
Acquiring access for the greater government. Anything.
You better not be saying this in earshot of the guards, by the way.
No, that's why I asked her after I told them, yes, good day.
Just making sure.
I disengaged with the guards before approaching Dewey.
He's inside eating.
I don't think I can apply any of those to my situation.
Probably not unless you're a government official or a head guard.
Can fake it, but not well enough.
As long as you believe in yourself, you can do anything this world can imagine.
You are a great encouragement. I'm gonna go rob people.
Well, to each their own. There are consequences between every action, and I think the price for thievery around here is having your hands chopped off.
I will wait to steal. Until the staff is quite tired.
You are very energetic. I like you, as she continues eating.
You are more energetic. You are a source of admiration for me.
My grandma always said I was like a blazing sun.
My living lexicon. Anyway, let's settle in so that we have more energy than the other people.
Stanoga, how does it feel going from a grumpy old man filled with rage to a optimistic encyclopedia?
I at least don't have to do too hard on a character voice.
Question.
Answer.
And what floor is my room on?
You are on the first floor.
Okay, cool. There's no one under there. As long as there's no rooms under me, because I'm dumping out the entire contents of my bag and sleeping on it.
Well, there's only the ground floor beneath you, which is the tavern.
Oh. Okay, well then anyone directly below me will hear it.
Oh, there's practically nobody in the tavern, and some of the rooms are over the the storage and the back bar area, so you've nothing to worry about there. I forget that Americans don't have ground floor, first floor.
No, I got that. It's just I wasn't sure if you meant ground floor or first floor, so I don't know.
No, if I meant ground floor, I'll say ground floor.
Okay. I almost asked if you meant ground floor or first floor.
So you dump out your all like 40 coins that you have, and
58, and the various treasures that I have.
Arlius, are you just retiring to your room?
Yeah, he would be retiring with his charge, Kalani, making sure
it's a twin bedroom, but it's designed in a way that you can drag the beds together.
No, he'd be in a separate bed. He'd probably stay up most of the night, keeping watch just in case any more problems have. He tends to prefer resting during the day when he can, or in the early morning, and then get up in the afternoon. He's not usually allowed to do that, but he prefers it when he can.
I should also mention that he acknowledges it, actually rearranges the room a little bit, turns the bed and the table on its side so that and kind of moves it around his pile so that there's kind of a barrier between him and everything else. For safety, obviously.
You made a treasure hobble?
Exactly.
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm trying to adjust the time on the calendar and it's playing. But it is now the next day. Dawn arrives. Even though you stayed up past midnight, is there any early risers among you? Because some of you might not kick that habit.
Dewey, probably.
Well, there's no local roosters, but there is a clamor of activity from the south. Despite the city being hit, the manufactories and the industry in the south, must continue working. As you hear airships pass overhead, give me a perception check if you look out the window.
Oh yeah, if she's hearing things in the sky, she's totally looking out that window. Perception.
Based on seeing.
23.
23. It seems that there are a few of the bigger, more rugged airships that are doing flybys of the slums area. You even see one that seems to be dragging what looks like a pulley underneath it. You can only guess that perhaps they're utilizing some of the heavy lifting equipment to clear some of the broken and burned down buildings.
There's just so much activity in the morning. Oh my god, I can't wait to see what else is going on in this city. Ooh, that's a big one. Ooh, that's a nice crane, actually.
Yeah. Aside from those, the rest of the city is rather quiet. There's not much traffic on the road outside your window. One would probably owe that to the fact that the gates are currently heavily guarded and closed, and the city's still a bit shook up from being attacked, so...
Understandable. She's gonna have a light breakfast and then go out and start her day before anybody else gets up.
Okay. Anybody else waking up early?
I'd be sleeping in as long as possible.
Acknowledges awakens when he pleases. Which is probably kind of late.
All right.
If you rise me before 10 a.m., I shall answer you with a knife, is Magnus' response.
Zim had to step away for a minute.
Yeah, I know. I'm just responding to what he sent me.
Okay, now I wake up.
Alright. Those of you that have breakfast, Armstrong is once again up and cleaning mugs behind the counter, accidentally flexing whenever he does because his biceps are massive. The breakfast this morning is a sort of soup with bits of bacon in it. There would be more lavish things like eggs and sausages and things, but unfortunately the nobles bought up half food stores. Some of them that are staying here, and some of them that have barricaded themselves inside their estate, but that is what one of the waitresses tells you as she serves you the soup. And this sort of rather sweet-tasting bread. But yeah, so those of you that, in fact, actually, Dewey, after you've had breakfast, that is the perfect time for your little library trip that you did in the off time. So we could say that happens during the morning. Kalani, I already know what he's doing. Is he's going through the city and trying to help and console the people who've been displaced and lost loved ones by the attack. The slums having been the hardest hit because, unfortunately, with the buildings so tightly packed together, the fire spreads quite quickly. Sorry, being messaged. The nobles seem convinced to barricade themselves within their estates on the eastern side of the city. Well, those of them that still have estates, because a couple of them received damage during the siege weapon attack. Theory, you would find the library that you visited would be not too far away from the castle, actually, on the northern part of the square. Because you at least wanted to visit a big library, and that was the biggest in the city. Well, is the biggest in the city. And is relatively unscathed. There is only one person working there, a rather stern old owl. And she points you to whichever reference materials that you wish to look at. Which, knowing you, is a lot, because there isn't a thing that you aren't curious about.
Nope.
But it is about that time that, around about lunch, actually, that you find that little scrap of paper in the back of that book that I gave you. Whether or not you reveal the writing on that to your other party members is up to you, but like I said, it's only in a certain language, and it needs translation.
And she'll right now she'll just she does what she does, and she'll just keep it to herself until she can reunite with the party at whole.
It's up to you whether you trust them enough or not at the moment, because obviously certain things are up in the air because you guys only just met and the only things you've shared is a combat together.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm not saying that she's gonna reveal it, but or anything. As a player, she's still thinking about it, but she'll make her decision whenever we get back together.
All right.
About that, and then I'll say whatever she'll do with it at that point. But she comes out of the library bouncing and energetic, and if that energy was an electrical field, the whole town would be destroyed because she's just bouncing and happy and she's smiling and she's just looking around like, yeah, this is a good adventure. Learn things. Excellent.
If that energy was an electrical field, then you'd probably be shoved in the engine of a airship, because it's a lot more efficient to have somebody who vibrates and creates electricity than shovel coal all day.
She would solve the energy issue. That never happened. That would happen. That would never happen again.
All right. Arlius and Ignoldrezix and Magna, it is now approaching lunchtime-ish.
He will finally rise.
Ignoldrezix also wakes up.
Arlius will get up, get himself cleaned up, cloak himself in shadows as he assumes his normal, smaller form, before heading down in order to get some food.
You'll find that Kalani has left long, at least long before you, if you...
Of course he would. Of course he would. He couldn't have woken me up. Oh, well, no, that'd be too much trouble, wouldn't it?
Magna just comes down
Well,
and
I'll talk with
sleepwear.
him about that.
Did you just say Magna comes down in sleepwear?
Yeah, he's not put on his regular clothes just yet.
It's ironically not an uncommon thing in a cozy tavern such as this.
Nope.
You know, it's...
I've returned.
Welcome back.
I'm going to take a seat at the bar. He'd be making sure to have his back a little bit towards the wall, just in case. You don't live this long making stupid mistakes, just in case. You never know. As he keeps an eye on everyone, kind of getting the feel of the room, people's mindsets, how everyone seems to be, as I basically enjoy my breakfast.
Well, it's lunchtime for you, but I guess it'd be a breakfast for you.
It's breakfast for me. I don't do this early morning shit.
If you eat cereal at 3 a.m., is it still breakfast or is it something else?
Is getting antsy.
If it's the first meal for you, it's breakfast.
The forbidden breakfast.
Anyway,
I'm going to... Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to walk in the kitchen and grab a meat.
A meat. Just a singular meat.
Whatever I can just pick up and take with me.
There, you won't be allowed to walk into the kitchen.
I'll get as far as I can until I'm stopped.
Magna's just watching him.
You're stopped by a waitress. She looks like a house cat with white and black fur. Excuse me, but customers aren't allowed in the back area.
All right, well then, bring me some meat. How much is it?
I'm afraid we simply don't have any. The last of the meat supplies for today went into the soup.
Yes. Pardon that child of mine. We'll have 2 soups, thank you. Magna walks over and takes up Ignal.
Unhand me!
Nope.
What is Magna's race again?
Pine Marten.
Unhand me, you mammal!
Quiet, Gecko.
How dare you! I am a dragon!
Oh yeah? Get big.
Oh, were you born big?
Children, I am
Ooh.
trying to enjoy my breakfast. Can you both please take a seat?
No. I'm having fun.
Are you still holding him?
Yes.
He's gonna attempt to bite your hand. Not hard enough to draw blood, but to make you let go.
He tosses it to the other hand. He does. Ow.
I wiggle out of this one because you're only using one hand now.
Slippery little thing, aren't you?
I am young, not little.
The commotion you cause raises quite a lot of eyebrows. The rather well-dressed but ragged-looking people in the corner off into their drinks a little bit, mumbling under their breath in what you can only assume from their facial expressions is some kind of unsavory comment, given that they look at you like you're trash.
I huff smoke from my nose.
That's all of you. That's all of you, not just Ignal.
I pay them no mind, for they are but humans. I huff smoke from my nose and turn back to the waitress and say, "All right, then bring me whatever it is you made."
That's soup.
The waitress has already went into the back to get the soup that Magna asked for. He asked for 2 soups for the both of you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, your cognitive abilities will kick in someday, little boy.
There's the only one left there is Armstrong behind the bar, who's leaning heavily and looking down at you. You almost feel like his mustache is as imposing as the rest of his muscled form. But soon, the waitress will come back out and drop 2 soups on the table beside Arlius, because she just assumed that you guys were together, considering you left and arrived together.
Magna will sit at the table and then push over a stool, but not before peeking around to see if there was a taller stool. Do you have something to sit on, or will you stand?
I sit on the table.
Well, I suppose that works too. Very adaptive of you.
Give me a perception check, all 3 of you. Alright. Magna and Ignal, there is like a rather red starling looking Aarakocra at a table with other well-dressed people. His beak almost turns up in disgust as he sees Ignal sit on the table. And you hear the mutter of I sure hope he didn't do that on my table, or might have to clean it twice.
I promise you will. But not because of him.
I'm gonna look up when I hear them talk. And just kind of look around. What was that too?
No, just some dirty nobles at another table.
Oh.
Do you look at the direction that he implies?
Yes.
The table in question, including the red starling, they're all like glaring daggers at Magna. You know, if looks could kill.
Arlius is going to let out a sigh, push back a little bit from the table, stand up and stretch a little bit. I was having such a good breakfast. Before calmly walking over to the table.
Oh.
Of the nobles.
Hurry
May
with
I
your
help
stupid
you?
now. You may not have
May I
that
help you,
time.
commoner?
Commoner? No. I'm afraid that you have me mistaken. I am a diplomat, one of the nobility from insert country here.
Kiha.
Akiha.
Akiha.
He seems to pale for a moment.
It just so
if
happens.
we're going for comedic effect, it'd be the feathers turning white.
It just so happens that I am actually about to go meet with the king later today. I hear that he is quite a delightful fellow, here to discuss trade agreements and such. And it just so happens I was overhearing what you were saying to one of my dear companions. Tell me, I am very curious. How was your night yesterday? Were you okay during the attack? I mean, were you able to assist everyone?
I was okay up until the point where one of those blasted machines hit my outhouse with one of those dirty rocks from the outside. It's going to take at least a week for my servants to repair it all. Now I'm stuck staying in this establishment until it's done.
I see. Truly, terribly sorry for that. Tell me, what did you do yesterday? I am sure one of the great nobilities of this wonderful kingdom would have been up in arms to lead the common folk in defense, of course.
Why, I sent my son to the western gate so that there would be nobody flanking around, of course. And you know, I'd always supply the king with a levy of my own troops.
I see. So you did nothing. You remained in comfort while people fought and died. And yet, you have the resolve, I must say, to mock one of those who left the walls of the city to face the army that attacked your city directly, with only a small group with them, with no thought of their own safety. Someone who put their very life on the line to destroy one of the leaders of this invasion force.
Well, that's your job, isn't it? Like, I'm sure that the king is paying you all for your work.
And yet, I find it amusing that the nobility, the rulers of this city, are so eager to sit back and allow others when they should be defending their own people. Isn't that what you were given your noble title and lands for? To lead your forces into battle against any who would oppose your crown?
Ignald would probably speak up at this point and say, Ignore the feathered one. It's not worth your time. If I turn my head to listen to every word of every puffed up noble I've ever met, my neck would snap from whiplash.
Oh, normally I would, but you see, I have a thing when it comes to nobility. With those who believe they are better than everybody else, but allow me to let you know one thing. You all scream the same when you get to where you're going. Believe me, I have a lot of experience with that. And for a brief moment, Arlius is going to shift into his more demonic form as he just looks at the bird. I have a lot of experience with that. Before shifting back.
Ignald is going to slurp the rest of his soup down.
Give me a intimidation with that.
Yeah, it's not the smart thing, but he doesn't freaking tolerate.
Oh no, I get that.
People like this.
That I completely understand. I'm just saying, give me that intimidation. You may add a +5 onto the roll for your shifting shenanigans.
Oh yeah, advantage isn't really a thing in this one.
Mm-mm. Wow. Wow.
Wow.
An 18 is still respectable. Oh no, wait, was that with the +5?
13.
Yeah,
13.
that was with the +5. He seems to pale for a moment. You're not sure whether it was the fact that you said that you were going to see the king today or the demonic shift. He's definitely disturbed. He mumbles something about losing his appetite, and this isn't the last you'll hear of this, and goes upstairs.
Arlius is just gonna snort and shake his head before going over and sitting down. I have 0 patience with people like that. When it comes to things like this, you either show your strength and your ability, or you be silent. He was willing to hide behind others and put them into harm's way rather than risk himself. I do not tolerate people like that.
For once, I agree with you, Bamel. If you have a high position, you should at least be able to back it up.
Exactly. If you, as I believe you people say, if you are willing to say something, be able to back it up. If you cannot, well, I will call you on it. As he kind of taps the giant axe he has on his back. Not lethally, of course, but, well, I figure a good thrashing can teach people lessons that words cannot get through their thick skulls. But only people like that, people who are willing to watch others suffer for no reason than their own massive egos.
Hey, Safinar. Yeah, Safinar. When are we supposed to see the king again?
You will see him in the afternoon. So there is still like most of lunchtime and early afternoon where you can do whatever you like. Kalani in particular has been gone since the early morning. He's been well, you don't know where he's gone, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
And Dewey as well. Considering that her and Magna seem to have made friends, but Dewey is absent from the breakfast table / mid-lunch table.
I didn't think a lot about you first, but I think I could see myself hanging out with you in the future. You're different than the standard.
Different than the standard what?
Dirty.
I took it as a great pride with every city that I conquered that I would go through the local nobility. Those who stood against me with honor, I would give a quick, clean death. Or fight them honorably. Those who were cowardly or sent others, I would have tortured for months on end. It was very enjoyable, honestly.
You. Oh, yeah, no, I don't meet a lot of people like you. But
That was the. I will say that was the old me. The new me would not do that, though. As he kind of pauses and glances back towards the table, the urges are there sometimes when I see such massive stupidity. How you mortals deal with it, I will not understand.
you should perhaps take steps to hide yourself a little better in the future, though. Also, don't step into churches.
Oh, as he kind of taps the holy symbol on his chest, I am one.
Ah, weird. Interesting standards nowadays. Nah, never was for religion, though. Too many
My
consistencies.
God more leans around, do as ye will so long as you harm no others. And to step in when you see others being harmed.
Ah, interesting.
And,
Okay.
and with those nobles, they cause harm by refusing to help. They have the money, they have the manpower. They could help those who are suffering down in the lesser off districts, but they choose to do nothing. I do not like that.
Well, as far as they see, their taxes, their levies, etc., are their right to help them. The lesser off need to basically fend for themselves with the lands that they're given.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
Is the general consensus you get, at least out of the nobles here. Some are shut in. You don't know about all of the nobles. But that isn't a subtle hint. That's just me pointing that out.
Oh yeah, no. Arlius just doesn't take that kind of shit. If he'll judge nobles on a case by case basis, but he does not take their shit. He will call them on it, and he probably drives Kalani insane with that. He's not necessarily always the best to have when it comes to negotiations.
He definitely does.
Yeah. Kalani is also at heart nobility, being Lord Vikia's right hand.
As I've talked with Kalani before about this, an actually decent noble. I was not aware such a breed existed. I must study this for future reference.
Alright, so as I get up to leave, what are the nobles eating?
It would seem that a lot of them seem to have sausages and other meat, like the cartoon joints of ham, where it's like a big club. There's a couple of particularly fat ones. One looks like a polar bear almost, who is slobbingly munching on a bit of meat. His girth and size are, quite intimidating to to somebody of your stature, but being of draconic ancestry as you are, you don't take much note of that.
Would be intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk up and say, so I'm gonna cast Spark on like one of the big pieces of meat, which makes it ignite. But stylistically, I'm gonna spit like a hot piece of like it looks like a small tiny flame, just like as if it was saliva onto it.
Ignal.
Are you sure about this?
Are you? There are guards right there, Ignal.
Well, it wouldn't like set anything big on fire. I'm just trying to scorch the meat.
The meat that he's eating.
Not the one that he's actively eating. One that's just on the table.
You want to cook it more.
Yeah, it looks a little underdone.
Alright.
I'm
All
gonna say,
right.
I'm gonna
The,
say,
uh,
I'm gonna say,
the-
sorry, it looks a little underdone.
The meat ignites. The bear that is eating the other one notices it, and his eyes bulge a little bit as he knocks the meat and half the plate onto the floor, and then gets incredibly angry and sits up, tipping the table completely over.
Oh, sweet! I'm gonna grab the meat. Grab the meat and leave.
Magna applauds.
Hey, man, if he doesn't want it,
He's also going to give a chuckle as he watches. Kind of just amused by that. Honestly, right now he holds the most of the nobility he has seen in this city with utter contempt, and seeing them get fucked over a little brings a bit of joy to his heart.
Armstrong seems to stop for a minute. He's no longer wiping down a glass as the bear shakes with anger and goes to like throw things.
throw things. How
yeah,
Oh.
how uncivilized.
Armstrong just seems to stab the ground, and the floor raises up slightly, and the table rights itself.
Ooh. What skill?
And the bear takes a second look, realizes where he is, and walks out with his head hung.
What do you know? A noble with sense. Would miracles never cease? I must pray to my God for this miracle he has given us.
Yeah,
I,
right. Your god.
I bite the meat. That is not
Yeah,
cooked to perfection.
That's all from one stab from the owner.
Yeah.
He goes back to cleaning his glass, but he does seem to be looking at you for a bit, Ignal.
Oh well, I was on my way out.
Yeah.
Grabbing a snack as you leave.
Exactly.
I'm going to be looking over at Magna. Perhaps we should join our little lizard friend. I have a feeling entertainment may.
He's tavern hopping at 6 in the morning.
Yes, I could see it. He's done it before.
Not actually 6 in the morning. It's more like 12:30, approaching 1 o'clock
I swear to God, if I find that
in the
boy,
afternoon.
if I find that boy has gone pub crawling again, I will take him out for a very special training session, and I will beat him within an inch of his life for his own good.
I like how they're all thinking the worst of you, Kalani, and you're actually out doing really noble things right now.
I'm
least
used
knows.
to it.
I just
I
figured
mean-
Kalani's probably doing something good right now, but he can't
I
help but
mean,
give him
Magna's
shit.
not making any assumptions, so he just doesn't know.
I'm his teacher. It's my job to embarrass him.
No
Russell?
wonder he's left you
Stephanar,
behind.
Stephanar, I would like to purchase a soap.
You'd like to purchase a soap.
Correct.
Just one soap.
Just one soap.
I mean, you don't have liquid soap in this world, right?
No, they have bars of soap.
Exactly. How much is it?
Second. Don't expect it to cost like a couple of coppers. Just check.
Yeah, I figure that sounds about right.
You can purchase it for a copper from a general goods store.
A copper. Let me just break this gold piece into hundredths. No, not hundredths.
Yes, 100.
Yeah, it's 100. 100
Okay.
copper for 1 gold.
I should carry some smaller change, shouldn't I?
I know, right?
Kalani would probably be headed back to the tavern about this time.
Oh yeah, Safinar. Did we all get that 150 for helping with the fire? Or was that...
Yeah, you and Igor got the 150 for helping direct the water brigade and the surviving citizens into the warehouses.
Neat.
You mean
I
her?
almost forgot to put that down.
You mean hurting the lesser beings?
No, we helped the people. Snack. Bad lizard.
Oh, how much is a little container of like polish?
That would be 5 copper pieces.
Okay, cool. So, Acknowledgix is going to find some, I don't know, some water supply, probably, and then take a bath because dragons care greatly about their appearance. And I will use the remainder time to polish the gemstone, the what's it called? The jewelry that he wears.
You're going to find a water supply, so you're going to do this completely out in the open. You're not going to go back to your inn for this.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Well, there's a few reasons actually. One, you're taking a bath in public in a public water supply.
Well, not drinking water. He's not he's not dumb.
The only water supply you find that isn't drinking water in the immediate area is the large fountain in front of the palace.
Well, if it's in front of the palace, then probably at the inn then.
Yes. Alright, good. Turn back around and have your bath.
And then he's gonna spend the rest of the time polishing his jewelry and scales.
Alright. Then I guess it is up to Magna and Arlius for what they're doing. And then we'll get back to Dewey and Kalani.
Well, we've got Conrad to find. I wouldn't know where to look for your dog. And that girl loves books. So I'm gonna look at the library.
Then I shall accompany you.
Ah, alright then. Sure. You've been to libraries before, Mr. Conqueror.
I once had a vast, vast treasure trove spanning worlds before. Yes, I've been in a library.
Just making sure you conquer types are so difficult sometimes. What with your raiding, pillaging, and burning, and so on and so forth.
No. It was an organized military battle. No pillaging, none of that. We brought order where we went.
You brought order and death, but I suppose to some, yes.
He kind of pauses and it's like for the first time it's like doubt actually kind of shows on his face.
You are distorting a little bit, at least on my end.
Oh, hang on. Let me fix that.
He has to restart his headset every now and then.
Yeah. So it basically sounded like you were trying to you were like a ventriloquist or something. You were trying to speak while gargling water.
Okay, how's that?
That sounds
Yep,
better.
that's much better.
Okay. He's gonna kind of pause at that and look a little like not shaken, but disturbed. I once thought I knew what I was doing, what my purpose was, what my place in the world was, and then my eyes were open to just how great freedom and choice were. And I changed.
For the better, I'm sure. Shame
It
that you left
depends on
your
who you
strength
ask.
behind.
I lost a lot of power with my choice, but I do not regret what I did.
And I'm not going to admonish you for it, but I am going to poke fun at it now and then.
Believe me, I will say, and take no offense to this, you mortals look like children to me sometimes. I swear, I see you all doing the same things over and over again, and it feels like you never learn.
Well,
Though I suppose sometimes you do surprise even me, and that's delightful sometimes when that does happen.
well, yes, we live such short lives and we don't share information terribly well. Of course, I'm going to do the same thing.
Indeed, and that's why I originally thought my way was better. That you were children who needed rules, who needed order, who needed someone to tell you how things needed to be, or it would just be chaos. But
Not
sometimes chaos is good.
Not entirely true.
All right, Palpatine.
We do well in cities and so forth, but we don't.
Order is
kind of
good
pressure.
sometimes, but not stifling draconic order that stifles freedom, the ability to create things of beauty, art, music, things that only you mortals create.
You are an interesting one for sure.
Well, once I led the forces of the Nine Hells against worlds. Once. I'm different now. As he taps the holy symbol on his chest.
Yes. You might want to check your arrogance now and then, though. You're among us mortals now.
As I will say, do not say something unless you can back it up. As he kind of just reaches back and casually taps the head of his massive axe, I can back it up. If I could not, then I deserve to be beaten for my arrogance, and be beaten within an inch of my life. And I would expect that to happen.
You're a very difficult learner, aren't you? You don't seem like someone who's terribly adaptive.
When you come from where I came from, it tended to be betrayal, backstabbing, manipulation, or punching someone in the face to get ahead. I much prefer the way you mortals do, talking and working things out than that. It's one of the things you have going for you.
Right. I'll learn to be understanding of your draconian ways.
I will say this, if anyone gives you trouble, I will step in and assist you if you need to do anything.
Yes, I do think we can still be friends. Now, to
That
the
sounds like a
library.
recipe for disaster. This whole city is hunting me. Why? Oh, I just took this thing that was out in the open. They say I stole it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what?
I say that
do
we're not strong
think
enough to keep it, so thus it goes to
I-
you.
I do think I'm the right party. What a delightful coincidence.
Arliss is very much respecting strength and power, but he still wants to use it to do good. But at the same time, mortal rules and laws, well, I mean, okay,
terribly
can you back it up? He has a very might makes right mentality. But he'd rather use that power in order to help people rather than hurt them.
You sure you're not an inquisitor rather than a cleric? Might makes right is one of the things they can go for.
For the Emperor! I am sorry, citizen. You have been found to not be devoted enough. Bang.
Goodness me.
So,
Oh,
which direction are you? Is this delightful duo heading in?
The library.
Alright.
As Magna now has 2 people who he can probably rely on if he gets himself in trouble.
What's the worst that could happen?
You ask around, and you are directed towards the biggest library in the city because that is the most well-known one, which is the one just at the north of the castle square, well, the northwest, the purple building. If you really want a physical place on the map to look at.
To the library, in search of one with intelligence and no wisdom.
As you arrive, there is very little people there. And there is, however, an elderly owl with rather large spectacles behind the desk. And we'll leave you there for a moment. Because I really want to get some Kalani time in. Stop, Kalani time. No, so the slums, well, to put it bluntly, they've seen better days. They weren't necessarily absolutely filthy and squalor, but they were worn down and very close together, shall we say. You get the opinion that the people here at least have access to fresh water and a medium of food that the kingdom can provide, but the living conditions reflect overcrowding and menial work, not being able to afford like more lavish buildings like down in the merchants' quarter, or the nobles, for instance. The relief center is still there from last night. Quite a few grief-stricken individuals. Many families that have been torn apart by the devastation and the fire that followed. As you've stated to me in your DMs, that you have been going around and attempting to console now and again. You're not quite the trained counselor, but you are at least a shoulder that people have very welcome in. You are actually in the midst of helping move some belongings for this elderly lady. This Kitsune, in fact. Her name is Aria. She lost her entire house in the fire. She has no immediate relatives, but she does have a few things that she just needed moving towards her trunk in the relief center, and you, well, being an able-bodied Farron, as you are, said that you could help with a little bit of magic of your own, telekinesis. There definitely seems to be it's not just guards that are helping the area. Obviously there are quite a lot of people helping each other because in such a tight knit community such as this, people do rely on each other quite a lot. However, there do appear to be a bunch of what look to be sellswords, but they do happen to be wearing a crest on their shoulder.
What is the crest?
The crest looks like a griffin with outstretched claws.
Kalani would turn up his nose at them. He really doesn't have any respect for, mercenaries. Money is not a way to properly be doing anything. No reason to actually do anything for as far as he's concerned, but
well, at the very least, they seem to be both moving and helping in the search efforts, which is odd for sellswords, so to speak, because normally if they're hired by some noble, they'd be either guarding caravans or other things. But yeah.
Well, yes, but he's certain they're being paid for what they're doing. But Kalani will just continue to assist wherever he can, however he can. After a little, as it gets closer to the appointment time, he would head back to the tavern to at least freshen up a bit, because, he's probably rather filthy, covered in soot and such.
There's filth on you, there's grime, there's all sorts. There's a little bit of blood here and there. You went in and held a couple of hands while they were recovering. A couple of people wanted to thank you for aiding with the saving of lives, so to speak. Like I mentioned, you in particular, when not helping to put out fires, your telekinesis skill was very useful in helping people who were buried in rubble get out. The guards that you do see are on rotating shifts. Mostly the more well-armored ones are directly on guard duty. But there are a few that are a bit more lightly armored. That are helping with the rescue and general moving with stuff. You figure that you've been in enough patrols and wartime expeditions. You reckon some of the guards have been told that they are to dress down, remove the heavy armor because it'll only impede their work, and leave like the general law keeping to the actual armored guards for now. Some of them may even be there like off shift because they want to help. You don't see Captain Farron at all, though. But yeah. The guard is well established, especially throughout the western portion of the city, which is the side with the Colosseum and the inn. You still see a lot of them down by the gates, as you need to pass down the road to get to the inn. And when you get in, it's well, the inn has a pleasant atmosphere into itself, but it's rather hard fought with the somberness of things, and also the audaciousness of the nobles that have held up in the inn, who have nowhere else to go and are thus complaining about their current circumstances. Ignaldrazek seems to be in his room as well.
Oh, he went back to his room? Wow.
Well, he went back to freshen up, and he
Oh,
would need to
yeah.
go back to his room to towel off, so...
Kalani would go for the bathroom. Whatever baths.
It's a shared washroom, but there is individual ones for male and female. So
He'd go in there
It's,
to get cleaned up. Probably pull out his finer clothes to put on instead of the regular ones he wears.
your pompous diplomat clothes.
Oh no, his finer clothes are very much still combat oriented. They are nowhere near pompous. Rather simple, actually. But, it's better than what he normally wears. Silks and such instead of regular linen and whatnot. He dresses up well.
You dress up quite smartly. I'm sure there were a few times when you were younger, where you rather tried to make holes in things so you could stash weapons and stuff. Much to Lord Fakir's chagrin, because of course he kept having to buy you replacement clothes on occasion. But you made do with dressing smart but practical.
Yeah, the Lord of
and you
that
scrub up
time.
quite nicely.
Because Nightcall and he grew up together. But the previous one was
Yeah.
not happy about it, no. Especially because he'd get Nightcall to do it as well.
Yep. You may just see the tail of Ignal leaving the washroom, as he did go in there to polish his scales, and then move back to his room to polish his jams.
This is his equivalent of putting on nice clothes, because he doesn't.
You gotta look your shiniest when you're faced with a king, even an avian king.
A king of lesser creatures is still a king. It would do me no good to make a fool of myself in front of one.
Magna may also need to go and purchase a set of finer clothes.
Well, most of you were just adventurers hired on the spot by the captain of the guard. So some of you would be expected to be a little rugged, whereas Kalani is a full-on diplomat. So he may be of a martial persuasion, but he is here to deliver trade agreements from his lord and master directly to the king, and see if there's any replies. So, you two freshen up. As it's almost time to go, I'd assume that you two would leave reasonably early to be on time.
Yes.
Do you try and grab anything to eat on the way out?
Nah, I'll eat afterwards.
Considering...
Still
Go ahead.
Still pretty full from the soup and the meat.
Kalani had been out for quite a few hours working, so he would grab a small snack on his way out.
You managed to get this very doughy bread. That's it's quite filling, and there's quite a lot of it. Like the loaf is about as big as both your hands combined. But yeah, that's all they could spare on short notice for fairly cheap. They're expecting a food delivery later on the afternoon, because they've requisitioned the both the palace and the merchants' quarter for extra food, as the inn is quite crowded at the moment. And like I explained earlier, the nobles bought up a lot of the finer food. But yeah, you have your chewy, doughy bread to munch on as you march towards the palace. And we'll get to the other three who are currently in the library. As the library matron looks over you two as you arrive, not quite having seen Dewey yet. Yes.
Hello. I don't suppose you witnessed this girl wandering around with a deep appreciation for
You're breaking
literature. Hello. I don't suppose you've seen a rather clueless girl with a deep appreciation for the books rather than their contents?
There are rather a lot of clueless people with deep appreciation for books that come in here. In fact, they are the only people who tend to come in here. You'll have to be a bit more specific.
I see. Had a tome with a metal cover on her, a very large one.
You mean the hoard one? Yes, she is, let's see. In the draconic reference section, just over there. And she'll point, past, like, 12 bookshelves. Take her right up there, and you should see her somewhere. Well, granted, the entire section hasn't fallen down on her at all. Those books are rather heavy.
Well, should that be the case, I will retrieve her corpse. And he'll leave.
God, wouldn't that be a fitting end for Dewey? He's death by book.
Hoping I rolled way better than the other character.
Live by the book. Die
by the book.
How I lost my great uncle.
I am sorry if my voice acting is terrible, by the way, but I am trying.
No, I think it worked. You sound like an old lady.
You do.
I liked it.
Anyway, yep. Dewey, there is 2 shadows cast upon the tome that is 3 times your height. That you somehow managed to open. It requires both arms to turn a page. But yeah. It requires both arms to turn a page without ripping the parchment.
Like that very thin, like, Bible pages.
Yeah, but the page is about the same size as your torso.
Dragon-sized book.
It seems like it would be written by someone of a larger persuasion.
She's gonna look up at the 2 shadows.
Lo and behold, it is Magna and Arlius.
Guys! Like, I gotta keep my voice down because we're in the library, but oh my god, did you know that the main import and export of this town is airships and something called a skyfish? We should go get some skyfish.
We have to meet the king.
Yes.
You know, it's a very rare encounter that is only spoken of in adventure stories.
Wait, what time is it?
It's approaching the middle of the afternoon.
Oh, you know,
Your books will be here when we return.
According to the candle that you at least lit at lunchtime, which is nearly burnt down over the last 2-3 hours.
Sometimes I just don't, like, keep track of time because so much you can. Oh my god! Did you know red dragons heat up their eggs with their own breath? That's so cool. I kind of want to see it.
Yes, very interesting. Let's not miss our encounter.
Indeed, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Think of how much knowledge you could gain from this.
Okay, let's go.
I can't help but wonder what
Good
else
girl.
she might. Can't help but wonder what else she might have learned about red dragons.
And she just gets up and she's like, "Onward, let's go meet." And she'll probably like grab both their hands and just like pull them out of the library. But she'll wave an energetic bye to the head librarian.
Magna is
Remember-
amused and allows himself to be hauled away.
Remember, we close by midnight. It's all you hear.
And she'll pull him out on the street. How much time do we have between now and meeting the king?
I would say around 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
You have enough time to get to the castle, effectively.
Okay, so she was like, "Let's go," but on the way she'll grab like if there's like street carts or something of like food. She'll
Not
just
in not in the castle square, I'm afraid.
not in the castle. Okay, so she'll just lead him straight to the castle then.
So, Kalani and Ignal, you'll actually see 3 familiar figures just up ahead of you, moving towards the gatehouse of the castle. The castle in the middle is rather odd architecture, actually. Imagine like an incredibly stretched out and towering castle, but there doesn't appear to be openings on the bottom. It's almost like the original was built and then it was built on top of, and then built on top of, and then built on top of again, and they just completely concreted out any windows or doors around the bottom. What you see instead is behind the guardhouse, there seems to be a rather lavish-looking elevator, which leads up to the top, implying that to actually enter the castle itself, you either need to use the elevator or you need to be able to fly, get up to the actual gates. Which, if you think about it, is quite ingenious design because it means that archers will always have an advantage up there, and it is very hard to get to the actual doors to breach without the working elevator. But yeah, these 3 are just ahead of you two, approaching it. Igno, Kalani?
You said they met back up with us.
They're just ahead of you. Like they're not turned round to see you, but they're about to enter the guardhouse just in front, which guards the elevator up. If you want to catch up with them.
Yeah, I'll go in.
Yeah, we'll catch up and head in.
All right. All 5 of you appear to be back together again.
Kalani, there you are. Did you have fun with your pub crawl?
I was not on a pub crawl. I was helping the some of the survivors.
No, very good then. Charity.
I know, but I have to give you a hard time, of course.
There'll be enough time for that later.
I'm glad you weren't at the inn earlier. I don't know if you would have approved or not. I kind of called one of the nobles out.
Oh, actually, that sounds quite good.
He was being quite a... Oh, what's the term one of you've used before? A twat?
Dickhead.
That's a good word as well. I like that word.
I like this word. This is a good word.
I'm going to use this word now. Dickhead.
You move inside the guardhouse. There's a rather modest line of about 6 guards, all standing facing each other. A figure rather lavishly dressed, in black garments and tie. You can only describe it as the butler kind. A rather reptilian humanoid. You think one might call it a turtle. Though some of you are not sure. Bows to you. Thompson, the steward. I see to guests and see to the king's needs on occasion. He has asked me to come down and lead you to him. If you'd like to follow me to the elevator, we can get going.
I thank
Lead
you.
on.
Sounds amazing. Let's go.
Indeed. Let's go.
You are led to the elevator. It's mostly closed up till about eye level. You can look out, see some of the city as you rise to the castle. As you get there, the gates open, and you are led inside. The corridors of the castle are rather spacious with lots of rafters overhead. The architecture is very reminiscent of what you've seen from some of the other buildings. You don't know whether the castle was built first or the some of the more lavish buildings in the city were built first and the castle was built after. But the design architecture tends to keep after it for all you historians and what do you call them? Architects out there. Either way, it's only a short trip down 2 halls and then up a flight of stairs before you're led to... It could be called a throne room, however, there's no thrones present at the moment. It more seems to be filled with tables with scattered papers and maps. One of the maps looking very similar to the one that you saw Captain Farron poring over in the Western Gatehouse. A regal figure. Regal in the fact that he dwarfs most of you in height, and is wearing rather large purple robe. However, under it, while the clothes are fine, they seem to be very simple. You get the feeling that the robe is only for show, because he is king. The head of this Aarakocra is much like a cockatoo, and he has a very white and sparkling plumage. He appears to be rather perturbed as he pores over things, and there are some advisors going to and fro from him. Eventually, he waves them away as he sees you lot and the steward arrive. And you're left alone. Well, alone in the fact that there are a few guards just at the doorway, but yeah, there are no more officials bothering him for the moment. Welcome to my castle. I am King Rulo Alfever, and I cannot thank you enough for the service that you have rendered to my city. This here is not more but a formal ceremony in order to thank you. However, I will also reward you for your efforts and your particular going above and beyond to go and kill one of the leaders, which helped the guards push back the incursion. Thompson goes over and Rulo picks up his sack off the table and hands it to Thompson. Thompson then brings it over and holds it out for Arlius and Kalani to inspect.
Arlius will reach out and take it to check it.
Quite a weighty sack, as you'll find 1,500 gold in it. 1,500.
Give a small
Which
nod
I'm
before.
I'm about to put in the party sheet in a second. Moment. It's lagging a little bit.
Before you distribute it, don't forget that Trano did drop out.
Oh yeah. There we go. Ours. There we go. It's in the parcel coins. Is there a way to just sort it out?
There should be a arrow in the center of the 4 boxes. I thought you said 1,500, not 3,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why it duplicated itself. There we go.
But if you've removed, yeah, it looks like you removed him, so there's a little arrow in the center that you can click to have it automatically distribute.
There we go.
Magna, it looks like you've got 50 CC.
Those are copper coins.
They should be
should-
copper pieces, CP.
Yeah.
CP.
So, all right.
It is not much, but it is something I could scrounge up at the quickest. After all, much of the city's funds are going into the rebuilding effort and the hiring of additional staff in order to clear up and aid with the recovery efforts. My hands are a little tied at the moment. Unfortunately, I've got the nobles of the east bickering, and I have people without houses in the north. So you'll understand.
Ah, yes, the assholes.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting much of anything. A formal thank you would have been sufficient for me.
It was my honor to help how I could.
Nevertheless, it would feel remiss of me not to reward you, and it's especially seeing as I put our diplomats from our country across the sky at a disadvantage when you should have simply been sampling our hospitality for the evening and then meeting me. I do apologize. However, I am glad that you are at least several times the man that Nikal said that you are.
Your praise is appreciated, but not necessarily. Not necessary. Thank you, though.
I promise you that when the wedding goes out, you will get an invitation.
He does like a hearty chuckle of that. I'm sure Brella would be excited to go to a wedding. She has been quite bored, cooped up in. But unfortunately, even though I'd rather be out there helping, we are under constant guard at the moment for our safety. I will be moving out with my personal guard later this evening to see if I can help with some of the recovery efforts, but
Arlius is just going to
Summer.
look over at. Oh, sorry.
some are quite insistent that we stay at the castle, is all he was going to add.
Arlius is going to look over at Kalani at this. 2 nobles who want to do the right thing and help the common people. I swear it must be a miracle. My God be praised.
One of them is one thing, but 2?
I thought that was just the exception that proved the rule. But yet here I am standing in the presence of a man I do not wish to dismember violently. I am unsure how I feel about this. It's a good feeling. A very good feeling. Is this what being good?
Yes.
I miss this
welcome
feeling.
To mortality.
My good Lord Castamont, while you haven't met him personally, he has informed me that some of his men have seen the work that the young diplomat from Fakia has been doing. And I doubly thank you so for that.
It is simply my honor and duty to help how I can. And in these kinds of times, a good leader such as yourself is far more important to keep safe than it is to have you out there helping. There are others to help, though.
I thank you for your concern. I am angry that I am not able to help with my own 2 hands, but I do understand my people's protectors over me and my wife.
It is your duty to direct where the efforts are supposed to go so the most good can be done. Without leadership, these people are nothing but a mob. You must give them that leadership and direction so that they can do the most good for themselves and for others.
Yes, I am quite aware of that fact. Anyway, to business and why you are here other than the reward. I trust you have a missive for me, something new from Nykel that I haven't received by mail.
Yes, it is here. I do actually have I wasn't planning on this, but I do have a scroll case, so he'd pull that out and hand over the letter that he was probably given.
Thompson would actually pick it before it's handed to the king. You understand, just security precaution.
One second, I gotta run in real quick and go get Jim. I will be back.
All right. He picks it up and unseals the scroll before holding it out towards the king, and the king skims over it. Yes. While some of these things I can absolutely send a draft down to the merchants to proceed with, a few of them I won't be able to acquiesce at this time, such as perishable items and food. I know that a cultural exchange of food is important between our people, but right now we need to store up for further sieges and feed our people. I understand that some of our merchants are interested in some of the smithing techniques of your country and the metals they use as well. Perhaps at some point you will visit the merchants' quarter and see for yourself how they fare. Regardless, I will get some people on this as soon as I am able.
Absolutely, there's no rush.
The final matter as to why I asked you were here. I have a job offer for your group. I know that you may have only just met, however, you seem to be at least somewhat effective in deterring the opposing side. The job in question, I hope that you will seriously consider it because it will aid our people greatly and potentially speed up negotiations with further trade with your country. We need a scouting party. The goblins have retreated further west. There are several towns in that direction. We are rather frightful that they may have been ransacked or even massacred, especially by an army of that size. So, and he brushes some scrolls off a map. Give me a second, I will swap to the main map screen. Record? The towns of Nantganter and Caister, which surround the Buswood to the west of us. Those are under our kingdom, and they are slightly off the main road, but they are still to the west of the main gate that you helped defend. We would like, if you're willing, for you to scout out these towns and report back within 2 weeks of your findings there. You will be rewarded for your effort. I'm not asking you to do this for free.
I cannot speak for my compatriots here, but I would be honored to assist where I can, especially if it means the trade negotiations will go better.
What say you? He looks at each of you in turn.
If there's more gold in it for me, then I'm up for it.
A quest from the king. That'll look good on my character. Of course, of course.
I thought you were actually about to say
Resume.
assistant
Our
the king
resumes.
himself. Yep.
Our
check.
resumes. Are thick.
Yes. Everybody
Alright.
uses resumes in this town of slightly steampunky-ish fantasy.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll
he
look
was
good on
definitely-
my. That'll be good for my reputation. Yes, of course.
Digi was definitely
What was that,
going
Sim?
to say resume.
Yeah.
You can't convince me otherwise.
No, I said character, and then I said reputations.
Still
Kobolds.
waiting for an answer from Dewey.
Oh, she jumped up and said, "Oh, of course I'll help."
Eh?
I don't think my mic was fully down.
And I'm going to assume Arlius would be with you, Kalani, because Kerr is
he
currently absent. Excellent. I'm glad you've all agree. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm sorry to that I can't spend more time with you all. However, I've got another meeting with a representative of the Empire that has come up from down below recently. Thompson will help you out, and if you speak to Captain Farron at the Western Gate, you will get free passes to come and go without paying any toll.
I appreciate
And
it.
he goes back to his his pseudo war table as the elderly turtle shows you all back out the way you came and towards the elevator. You are completely free now. To do things in the city if you wish. If you wish to go shopping, etc. It's kind of expected that you'll probably set off tomorrow, considering it's, afternoon, and nobody generally starts a journey in the evening unless they're complete night owls.
And absolutely pressed for time.
Yeah. Or they're trying to leave under the cover of darkness, because either someone's hunting them or they're doing something shady.
No, these are my traditional operations. I mean,
Oops.
my preferred
Close
time.
that. So if you lot would like to go shopping or whatever, just let me know.
Probably. There's always something I could buy. But I'm also probably going to check on those crates from last night.
You go to check on the crates in the harbor.
Yes, those ones.
Yeah, it seems some dock workers had lifted them out.
Great. What was in them anyway?
There is very little passenger traffic from the docks, but there's still a few industry-looking ships that go through there. You can sort of guess what's happened if you look at the buildup of the south compared to the north. The airship industry is kind of completely taken over the commerce side of things. Because after all, why go by sea where there's a limited route? Because it only leads to the end of the inland sea. An airship can go pretty much anywhere. So,
True enough.
But yes, shopping and things. What would people like?
My hamster is getting antsy. If we be adventurers, let us
Currently
adventure.
looking. I'm looking at all the items. I'm just trying to. There's so many. Oh my god.
There are many items.
I want to ask for rumors of magic items or great treasures. That's what I'm searching for.
The problem I have is that I don't really have anything that I need.
Yeah, same. I got everything I need.
Yeah, it's still a little early to really need a shopping trip. And I don't quite have enough gold to get things enchanted or anything, so...
Well, I mean...
Well, there's
rations,
always...
items
Well,
of lesser
yeah,
quality, ammunition, other clothes. There's plenty to buy.
You're fine because you have a rock, but the others may need riding beasts if you're going to be traveling for about a week and a bit-ish.
Ooh. Is there a place that you can procure such a beast?
Yeah.
I can't even ride my rock yet, I thought.
No, but you can have it carry you short distances like it would carry cargo.
How far is this trip?
I would like a riding lizard.
The trip will take at least a week and a half if you're going to be visiting two towns on a round trip around the forest of Buzzwood. So it will take about a week and a half. As for riding animals, there do appear to be there will be some more heavy duty draft animals towards the bottom of the merchant district, depending on what you're looking for. There is actually a rather beefy bird with long legs that's apparently rideable that is being sold there's a few of them, various different colors, in one of the stabled shops.
Ostriches?
Sorry, what was that?
I said ostriches?
Striches?
As in ostriches, but pronounced with an O instead of an A.
They're reminiscent of an ostrich, but slightly bigger.
Are they chocobos?
No.
That is the least convincing no I've ever heard in my life.
Do they make, as you ride them, is there a very catchy musical tone that accompanies them?
Well, I can't say for whatever psychedelic things go on in your head, but no, there's definitely not a musical theme that plays when you're on them, because this isn't a video game.
I would like to purchase a riding lizard.
There is unfortunately no riding lizards, as there is no need for lizards in this part of the country.
Lame. Do these avians talk as well?
Do you mean the riding ones? No.
You can never tell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Dewey will go check out the riding animals and the big poofy birds.
What other ones are there besides the big poofy birds? And I'm guessing horses of all kinds.
Yeah, there are a few horses. There is a couple of more exotic flying mounts. Some of them looking similar to Kalani's bird. You've seen it, but they do appear to have quite expensive price tags on the end of the stable. For example, there is one that has glowy wingtips, and its price tag is 5,000 gold pieces.
Deep price.
But yeah, that's for the fancy flying mount.
How much for the chocobo?
It is not a chocobo.
It's a stritch.
Yes, it's a stritch. Going with that.
I like it.
There are now named stritches.
How much for the stritch?
Some of the older ones are bordering 50 gold pieces, whereas some of the younger, more spry ones are about 100 to 150 gold pieces, depending on your haggling skills.
Dewey has haggling skills.
All right.
That's up to you. You gotta make a case. Like, you gotta make a case for why these fine stable hands should reduce the price of these stritches for you random people that they've never seen before.
That
No,
will
just
be
give
a
me a
hard
minute.
sell for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think for a second.
Oh, right, our living lexicon.
All right. So who do I talk to about it?
The stable hands that are taking care of them. One of your party members, the tiefling, is currently standing in front of and scratching her head as she thinks.
All right.
Because I like to think the head scratching is in real time.
It is.
So, I'm gonna pick one of the younger ones.
One of the younger birds.
Yeah,
Right.
one of the ones you say would be within the 100 and 150 cost.
Okay. Are you going to attempt to haggle for it?
Yes. What is
All
what is the race or species of the handler?
The handler appears to be a lizardman.
Ah, great.
Ah, a man of culture. That's
Exactly.
That.
Exactly. Ah, finally, a being with some sense. Greetings.
He introduces his name as Brixus.
I like it. Fine name. I wish to purchase one of these stritches, I believe they're called. Very interesting name. I like it a lot.
Well, as you can see from the prices on the stables, it's all right there in black and white or red.
Psst, what is the price?
145 for the one that you're currently beside.
Okay. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, that price right there. Psst, what does the price say? Ah, dang, I had a hag.
I need to plug my head in.
Pictured it's because you couldn't. The sign was posted higher than you could see.
Oh, dang it. I swear I'm hitting a growth spurt soon, I promise.
So maybe you can ride on a rabbit.
Though this one in particular might be a little hard for you to saddle up on in the middle of combat, should you wish to be running away.
Oh, is it because I'm... this is out of character, is it because I'm... Is he saying that because I'm small?
Yes, it's a short joke, but he said it in a rather complicated manner.
But probably also correct.
Also correct, because yes, some of the bigger mounts would be hard for you to just jump on top of, should you be in a fleeing situation.
Are there smaller ones?
I'm sorry, I expected an intellectual to understand.
Ah, an intellectual. No, He thinks for a minute. We've got some more juvenile ones, I suppose. We don't normally sell them as riding beasts, but
Well,
suppose-
I don't suppose you might have anything, as my companion will be buying something more suitable to his taste in the long term. After all, if we buy a juvenile, it will grow and cease to be suitable.
What?
He's implying that if you buy a juvenile, it'll outgrow you. That is what Magnus said.
Yes, that is exactly what I said.
Look, man, I might be smart, but I still got
He's-
kobold brain.
He scratches his head for a moment.
But I thought you were
I
a
can't
dragon.
Then
That was
perhaps-
out of character.
Or perhaps you could have a modified saddle then?
Jar, me bird likes you, so I'll do ye a favor.
All right.
Wait,
Oh, that was a voice.
that was a voice clip from. I mean, I know
That
what
was
it's from, but where did that come
That's
from?
a voice clip.
One of the sound effects people can spend to have played on the stream.
Where did they do that?
It's
it's blurb.
it's one of the extensions on the stream.
Yeah.
Oh,
You see it. You see it inside. It's blurb.
I see.
It's five,
Am I gonna have to go do this?
bits.
Am I gonna have to do this accent? Yar, me bird likes you.
No, because they are not pirates.
Are you sure?
Pirates do not raise striches.
Are you sure? You know, you don't know this, but there are sky pirates in this fucking world.
Why would a
Um,
stritch be on an airship of all things?
You tell me, Final Fantasy.
No, you cannot bring you cannot bring chocobos onto airships. It's
You can.
not allowed.
You
All
can.
right, wait.
There are several Final Fantasies you can do it, including Final Fantasy 9.
I never played that one, so
Anyway, a customized saddle I could do. But like I said,
Real quick.
yeah.
Real quick,
Yes.
Safinara, are there smaller mounts I could purchase elsewhere?
Not smaller than this unless you want to buy a familiar and try and sit on its back, but I doubt you could do that.
yeah, that's why Magna's suggesting a saddle for two.
My hamster is getting antsy.
He's
If we
he's,
be
he's
adventurers,
already
let
picked you up
us
before. He can
adventure.
haul you onto a stretch.
Makes sense.
A saddle for me and this child here.
Are you sure you want that?
Tell me the complications of my decision, so that I may understand what you may be leveraging.
Well,
Do you think she's referring to Wolfab's influence?
Ah,
yep. I was asked to do the voice. Well, you see, should one of you take an arrow, it's very hard to steer an animal when you're behind someone. Or... That's all I'll say. But,
someone's getting cold.
Oh, that
yeah, I think that was
that
was a sound effect, because...
That was Cobalt.
Yeah, Sim's in streamer mode, which means he doesn't get any Discord notification sounds at all.
Yes, Fariston, I'm very happy.
What did Power Stone do?
$130 gold for the bird, and an extra 15 for the saddle. That was 130 gold for the bird and an extra 15 for the saddle, if the accent threw you off.
No, I understood it. He's pondering if Cobalt's worth it. Or if the Cobalt is worth it.
I mean, if you don't want the customized saddle, you can always tie him to the back like luggage.
I can tie him to a leg is what I can do. But you're right. I might as well take care of my boy. if he'll split the difference with me.
That would be 145 gold between the pair of you. And Ignal's dignity. To be riding behind a mammal.
Oh, and
Well,
when you're riding
if
on
he doesn't want that, I can just buy a backpack and he can sit in it while I ride it.
Well, it depends, because he could see it as, like, him not having to do anything and being, lavishly ridden in coach.
the term you're probably looking for is to be chauffeured.
To be chauffeured.
So yeah, I'll do that. What is it? Like 70 gold?
70 gold-ish each, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll
With
pass
that,
him up.
72 and a half.
I'll pass him up 72.
72 gold and 5 silver.
Yep. That'd be 72 gold and 5 silver from each of you.
I'll
Works
take
for me.
that. And marking these down.
And you have one stretch. And he orders some people in the back to double up a saddle. Which they'll be done in about an hour. Because they have to sort of re-stitch it together. The bird is for riding and carrying cargo. It's not trained for combat. I will point that out.
Yes.
A check I can do to get a more familiar understanding for these birds. Like, she's essentially like an eye for an appraisal to see how good of the condition, like, especially the older ones are.
Give me a perception check.
Perception. 21.
21. Wow, your skill checks have been on fire today.
Yeah.
When did this happen? Why do I have 12 sets of traveler's outfits?
Why do you have 12 sets of traveler's outfits? So is it just one for each day of the week?
Well,
And then
I have 5 left
some
over.
extra. Yeah.
What the heck?
He just kept walking by people's backyards and taking them off the clotheslines.
It's like, this is mine, 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 mine. They're not complaining yet. Mine,
Please
mine.
go back to a regular number, because I'm pretty sure that you did not intend to have 12 sets of traveler clothes in your back, because your backpack.
Yeah, no, they're 5 pounds each. And I travel light. Supposed to, right? Should I sell them or what? Or just put down one?
I think you meant it's for one.
I
think
you
should put
doubt
down
you
one.
actually got
Back
that
to one.
many.
Yeah, that's like 55 pounds less. Yes, that encumbrance looks correct.
Okay. Each bird can carry up to about 550 pounds in weight, by the way. Just note that down somewhere in case you need to haul anything.
Right.
So, Dewey, you're looking among the birds of the fine establishment that is mostly stables of stinking horse bird type things, but still. There is a rather elderly purple-colored one that is being sold for 55 gold. And the slight twinkle that comes from its glossy eyes catches your attention, almost as if it's slightly more intelligent. And yeah, fate tugs you two together.
If she's allowed to go like into the pen to pet him, she would go closer to him, or if not, ask for like, "Hey, can I see the purple one?" The elevator one.
Brixus comes back over and he's like, this one's been with us for a while, but it's generally docile enough. And he opens the pen slightly for you to squeeze in.
I'll go in.
The bird creature trills and sort of lowers its head towards you.
I go closer. I do like a small little bow, and then I'll just like get closer and pet its head, showing it respect as well, and then kind of ruffling its feathers.
It seems to enjoy, particularly when you stroke the side of its head, like moving its head into your hand, sort of, and closing its eyes half lazily.
She giggles, and she'll go like, "I'll take this one."
All right then, that would be 55 gold and an extra 5 for the saddle.
She'll hand over 60 gold. Does this one have a name?
Now that I think about it, yeah, I think it did.
Her eyes twinkle and waiting to hear what the name was.
Rise, I think it was.
Rise. He's gonna look to it like, oh, Rise, that's such an honorable and beautiful name for one so elegant. To the bird.
Anyway, I'll go get your saddle and see to your friend's work.
She's just bouncing and petting the bird, and the bird's leaning into her.
Kalani, are you doing any kind of purchasing around here?
I have no real idea of what to pick up.
There's horses, there's these stritch things that are like horse birds.
Like ostriches.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna have another mount in a few levels, I don't know if I want to bother with one
It's
here.
just 150.
I guess I can go for one then.
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
you could just eat
worst
it.
comes to worst, you either worst comes to worst, you either use it to pull a car or you no longer need them. There's no set in stone rule that a mount needs to be with you for life. Hell, mounts get killed from either overwork or accidental, troll coming out of the woods.
Well, how much would
Accidental
a cart
troll
be?
coming out of the woods. Troll comes out, kills your Steve. Ah, whoops.
Ah, jeez. Ah, shit. I'm sorry.
I'm more meant
looking-
accidental, as in somebody rolls a 1 on a d20 at a random time when I ask them, which is actually a random encounter dice. Speaking of, somebody roll me a d20.
Oh no. The poor Stritch. Killed in the stable before it left.
Interesting. But yeah, anyway, there are horses, there are birds for sale if you wish to ride. If you don't, you can simply walk/run. But riding would certainly conserve energy and also get you the hell out of Dodge if you need to.
I'll go ahead and take one.
Right. The one that you're looking at, he goes, that one will be 120 gold and an extra 5 for the saddle. Again, you do have the chance to haggle, provided you can come up with a good in-character excuse. Because I'm also a bitch and like putting people on the spot, but yeah.
We wouldn't have you any other way, Sam.
Seeking this mount for an errand for the king himself. And I've kind of been working very hard to restore the help with rescuing people in the city here. I'm a bit tired. I would appreciate having a means of transporting, moving about much better than just walking after all the work I have been doing. Surely you can lower the price a bit for that.
Tech. He strokes his figurative beard for a second. Wait a minute. Are you're that foreigner that a couple of my mates have said that were helping rescue people under houses.
Yes,
I think I've heard of you.
I'm the captain of the guard in Fakiha, and I've been sent here on a diplomatic mission to the king, and now he's sending us off to scout out the area to help other towns that may have been attacked by the goblins last night.
Tell you what, I'll lower you to 100 gold. How does that sound?
Much appreciated. Kalani will dig it out and hand it over.
It's a rather fiery colored bird that you have. It's, would go well in the desert, so to speak. That is probably what attracted you to it.
Probably.
I assume that Kerr isn't back yet.
No, they had to do some shopping at the store, though they should have been back by now.
Well, I mean, I think we're close to, like, finishing up in a bit anyway. I can always ask him if he'll buy a riding mount or anything else in private. So, each of you have your birds. I assume that you're going to make preparations to have them move to the western gate. Kamar, were you trying to say something? I thought someone was trying to say something there. But yeah.
The sound effects.
You have, well, it's starting to get into evening. And, at least for one more night, you have free accommodation at the Armstrong Inn, should you wish to go back there. Should you not wish to go back there, that is understandable. There are a rather bunch of prickish nobles there. But yeah.
They're getting Rise and making sure... Was it a boy or a girl?
It was a male.
Male? Okay. After he's all nice and comfortable and stuff like that, she's gonna go off to the library till like they close and then go back to the inn.
The elderly owl there is well, she's not really bothered by your presence, but you get the sneaking suspicion that she is happy that you are a frequent returner. She doesn't get many visitors sometimes. Not a lot of people have need for knowledge except for mages, and most of the mages are like held up in the college on the cliff to the north.
In between her readings and stuff, she'll probably talk to the librarian too, on and off.
Anything in particular, or just chatter?
Just general chatter, get to know him, ask, what's your favorite subject to read? Like, what's the coolest thing in this library? Is there any, like, secret hidden books?
There are no hidden secret books, to her knowledge. This is the public library, after all. Those kind of things are reserved for mage libraries or the whichever royal library is in the castle.
I may have to get access to those one day, but anyway, I like it better here. It's much better.
You require 1,500 reputation with the King's faction. No, I'm kidding.
And yeah, she'll just make general conversation and pick her brain of knowledge and just, general talks.
Creighton says, "Don't go into the forbidden section." Although, as you are browsing books, by the way, you get a rather static shock which buzzes all the way through you and makes all of the hair on your arms stand on end. Almost as if all that energy that you expended this morning as you were vibrating all along the bookshelves and happily devouring every scrap of knowledge you could find has been lingering here and is transferred back to you.
Literally bouncing off the walls.
Literally static, just pure static electricity just coursing through you. You would swear that somebody's cast like a cantrip on you, but they haven't. It's literally just an after effect of yourself.
If the librarian would look to see bolts of bright pink light, bubblegum pink lightning going across the bookshelves.
She's gonna like raise a eyebrow. Well, an eye ridge, I suppose. It's an owl. And shuffle her book that she's reading and then go back to it.
Like the equivalence of a child in a candy store.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's how she'll spend the rest of her time.
If this world had energy drink, Dewey is definitely someone who has consumed too much.
Yes. Without actually consuming any.
Yeah. What are the rest of you doing?
After all that work, Kalani will be retiring to enjoy a few drinks. Local drinks, mainly. And by a few, I mean, probably a barrel or two.
Are you going to pub crawl, or are you going to go back to Armstrong's and ask for some of his specialties?
We'll do a small pub crawl. Specialties at each one.
Nice. So if you travel to the eastern area, past the Noble's Quarter, there is actually a more of a wine room type of establishment. If you care to go inside.
Doesn't care much for wine. He prefers harder stuff. Wine is basically water to him. Same with beer.
But you get the opinion that it is very much an area. It is being influenced by the area that it is built in, which is the noble section. Most of the nobles would probably be that would have been the first place that the nobles would have bought out. Armstrong's being the second because it's the biggest on the south side. There are a couple of other there is one towards the north in the slums. It's not exactly run down, but it's a bit tackier and gaudier than, like, say, Armstrong's or some of the stuff towards the south. It is relatively untouched by the devastation, and you see quite a lot of people outside it. Particularly some of the people who are sporting bandages and stuff as they were injured and recently at the triage clinic. The place is called the Dutchman. The name might be influenced by the sea to the north, you don't know. But there appears to be a rather portly boar in a white apron that is handing out what looks to be tin steins to various people around. If you listen into the murmurs, basically it appears like the owner is giving out free cheap beer to some to like a lot of people to raise spirits. But normal bar services are operating if you actually go in and speak to him.
Yeah, he'll spend some time in there grabbing some of the more some of his harder drinks. Kalani will.
His full name is Bartholomew. Yep. And he brings up a it's not a lot. It's a small cask, but it's something that he's kept under the counter, and he's been brewing for quite a while. And it is a very dark stout. In fact, if you can, it's reflex, will, and what are the free saves in
Fortitude,
Pathfinder again? It's reflex.
And
Yeah. If you could give me a fortitude save with I would say a +2, since you are rather well accustomed to stouts and
Only a
harder
+2?
liquors. +3 then.
I'll accept the +3.
Okay. It really hits your chest, not painfully, but as soon as it goes down your throat, it's almost as if there's a lot of warmth uplifting your lungs. This kind of stuff could keep you very toasty on a cold winter's night, and you like it.
Is there more of this that I might get to take with me? This is very well made.
He can sell you a barrel, like a smallish barrel, which has maybe 10 steins worth in it, for 15 gold, because it is something that he has been working on for like the past 2 years or so. So he wants a little bit of compensation for parting with it.
He'll take it, and he'll actually toss in an extra 5 gold. This is to make up for what you're doing here. I definitely appreciate your efforts to keep spirits up.
He grasps your hand, shakes it, and he's got quite a firm grip on him. There's that. It doesn't have a name, but I guess Bartholomew's Brew fits is what he'll add. If that's what you'd like to add to your inventory.
I have no idea if I spelled that right, but I've got it on there.
You can spell it however you like. It's not like I'm going to be having some kind of
Not quizzing you on it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be inquisitioning your inventory anytime soon. But yeah, it's like I said, it's not exactly high class, but that's not what you were looking for. And people seem to be in better spirits than they were this morning. Whereas this morning was very somber and melancholy. There are quite a few people who are actually laughing and boasting and play punching each other on the arm. There's a couple of bar fights. None that sort of spill into anything big, but people like to wrestle. You find a lot. It's not so much fists, but people do like to wrestle, and the first one to put someone through a table is generally the winner. If anything spills out into anything more than that, then Bartholomew himself goes at them with a rather iron fist. But yeah. That is the atmosphere that you are greeted with.
Yep, this universe is definitely run by Safanara.
What are you talking about?
Except I haven't seen anyone suplex anyone yet, so like I'm still waiting for that one.
I'm still waiting for one of you to actually ask to suplex a bad guy. What are you talking about?
What? You're DMing, so who's gonna ask that?
Also, we have the innkeeper. It will come.
He will suplex somebody.
You don't want a massive Armstrong. He is a 17th level fighter. I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm aware.
Sam, I sent you a message.
Alright, so we've had Dewey, we've had Kalani, Magna, and Ignal. You have some free time in the evening.
Oh, that free time will most likely be spent casting Arcane Mark on all of my new possessions.
You mean your extra gold that you've gotten? Because I assume 75 was not too much of a dip, considering you got about 450 today.
Correct. I'll be spending quite a bit of time casting Arcane Mark on each and every coin.
You would make a good account.
Dude, dragons, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm making fun of your race.
I love how Smog, apparently counts all of his gold all the time because he would notice even if a single coin went missing.
Yep.
I love it.
There's not any rowdy disturbances in the Armstrong Inn. You'd get the feeling that it probably would be allowed, but considering that most of the space is being bought up by nobles at the moment, there's not a lot of adventurers going through as the gates are heavily guarded at the moment. It's mostly quiet and a bit dour, if anything, from downstairs. Not that you care much as you are counting each and every coin and then counting them twice, and casting your mark on them. So that is the kind of atmosphere that is in the inn at the moment. Not exactly unpleasant, but a far cry away from the happy, rowdy kind of stuff that Kalani's going through right now. Magna, what are you doing with your extra bit of time before tomorrow?
Probably shop. He's got gear he'd like to buy, but this is not a place that feels proper to steal. There's a code of conduct.
So you're acquiring items the normal way rather than the sticky finger way, is what you're saying. Okay, is there anything in particular that you're buying?
Probably
things like rations. I will warn, their price has gone up. I'm trying to find rations on the list.
I believe they're called trail rations in the... Yeah, they're
Yes.
trail rations in this.
Yeah. So rather than 5 silver pieces for a day's worth of trail ration, they are up to 8 gold. That is simply due to the fact that a lot of the food and stuff is being requisitioned in order to store up in case a siege happens again.
That's fine. He was more looking for is there a healer's kit, or would that just be medical supplies? What would that be? I don't know if there's a healer's kit either.
There is a healer's kit. They are worth 50 gold pieces.
Yep.
You wish to buy one?
They seem good to have on hand, especially at this level.
Yeah. Things are mostly...
For the record...
Things are mostly... Oh, sorry, Sim, what?
For the record, a healer's kit gives you 10 uses, and it gives you a +2 bonus on heal checks.
Yeah. If you should be able to find a healer's kit in the item section.
Yeah,
Double
probably.
check.
Yeah, general stuff like that. Ropes, caltrops, perhaps.
For some ropes, for some caltrops on top of that, you'd probably be looking to spend about a total of 55 gold plus the healer's kit.
I'll think of something else that occurs to me while I'm browsing.
Right, but just make sure to either grab them from the item thing or just note them down. But healer's kit is definitely like Sim said, has 10 uses and gives you a +2 to checks.
Yep.
Alright. Is that everything? No, you have nowhere else you want to go?
I might get a bow if I don't have one already. Let me check.
A bow, you say?
Or a gun. How much is a gun?
Think I need to go to. I don't have up here. Let me do a quick search. Guns are. Sorry?
I was going to answer Kraden's question. Guns are very expensive. They are early firearms. Bear in mind that they are. You need to have many feats to even attempt to use them.
Really?
There's one feat that you need to use them. They're basically new technology. So, nowadays, while we all know it's pull the trigger and bang, it's these people. Some people would understand the basics, but as far as like reloading and such is where you would have problems. So you would need to pick up a feat to understand that. Keep in mind also that every gun does have a misfire chance. So if most of them is just 1, so if you roll a 1, the gun will be broken. It can be repaired. There is a gunsmithing feat that you can get that will allow you to just repair your weapon. But otherwise, that's kind of how they work.
The advantage of guns, to make up for the misfire chance is, you don't generally need to be trained in archery to use a gun. But their critical ranges are usually ×3 to ×4, whereas a bow's critical range is usually ×2. That is the advantage in using a gun over a bow.
Don't they also have Don't they also ignore armor or something?
They go on
after
the
touch
touch
AC.
AC. Yes.
Yeah, they go on
Also, hi, everyone,
touch.
I just got back.
Oh, hi!
But yeah, guns generally start in the 750 gold piece range.
Yikes.
I'm afraid, and go higher. Yeah, they are quite expensive. There are stores selling them, because like airship technology, they are a thing. Particularly with finding volatile compounds and burning them. Which for example, to generate steam powered for the airships, they use a kind of magic crystal ground dust which burns particularly hot. It is also not bad for the atmosphere. Just in case any of you were curious. But yeah. Knowing that the guns are pretty expensive, what is your next move?
He'll step inside and ask if they have a manual for these devices. As he side-eyes.
If they have a
manual for these
a
devices.
manual?
Of course.
They do, but it would cost you about 15 silver if you want to take it away from the store.
That's fine enough. I've got a particular
Jeez, that's cheap.
friend. Who could probably break this down for me.
Well, I mean, it would definitely get you on the road towards those gun feats if you wanted to pick them up at later levels by picking up a manual.
That's what I'm thinking, because
Yeah.
while I don't know how well Swashbuckler works with a gun, I really want to use a gun.
Yeah,
it sounds fun.
It's worth trying.
We could rebuild your character. Did you choose an archetype, or did you go straight swashbuckler?
I went straight Swashbuckler. I haven't looked at archetypes.
There is an archetype so basically the archetypes adjust, remove, and such some of your class features in order to give you new ones. There are a couple of archetypes for the swashbuckler that include pistols. There's one that I'm using in particular on my Friday character, because by default your panache only replenishes if you kill somebody or crit them with a melee one-handed or light weapon, like a rapier. But if you go with that archetype, which Saf, I'm sure you'd be okay with him redoing his character for this, because, you know, we're all new to it.
That's fine.
But there is an archetype that will give you access to that, where you can get that bonus with pistol. Keep in mind, pistols only have a range of 30 feet. Max.
Well, that's fine. I'm more of a duelist anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you can fire outside of your range band, but for every 30 feet they are outside of 30 feet, you suffer a -2 penalty. Of, I believe, 5 range bands.
Okay.
Either way, this is something that we can discuss off screen.
Yes.
As we are rapidly drawing to a close, Arlius, I was actually going to discuss whether you wanted to buy a mount for the journey or any other shopping, but you were away at the time. Most people have bought a mount called a Stritch, which is definitely not a chocobo.
Never.
I have a chocobo. He would probably get a mount for himself, just so he'd have one for everyone else.
They are in the realms of about 100 to 150 gold, unless you came up with a good reason to haggle. Kalani introduced himself as the person that had been helping the slums, and the stable hand in particular had heard that he'd helped some of his mates out. So
I'm with him.
Yeah, you can get yours for about 110.
Yes, paying is good, paying is right, paying is what you're supposed to do. I remember the good old days, though, when we led great armies and took the resources by force as we moved on across the sea. Never stopping, I'm doing it again, aren't I?
And
No.
you said
Yes,
you didn't
yes, you
pillage.
are. You should stop.
We didn't pillage, we
Requisition.
We found the grumbly old man character in this campaign.
requisitioned the materials for the greater good in order to bring order to the world.
That's pillaging.
We were moving assets in order to better use them.
Assets from conquered areas.
Yes, we brought law and order and stability to these areas.
Do we? What is forcefully taking things from defeated opponents?
During raiding, ransacking, depending on the type of situation you're doing it. Are you going into a village that you're naturally acquiring? Are you enemies against it from a foreign nation? I mean, it depends on the type of scenarios you're looking for. Though the one he's sounding is more like old the equivalent of Vikings coming in and ransacking and taking it back to their
No.
What's a Viking?
the fantasy equivalent of a Viking. If you give me like 2 minutes, I can find it. Swashbucklers, there you go.
Anyway, yeah, I think that this is a good place to close the session. Everybody is slowly making their way back to the inn. Kalani quite happy with the drink that he acquired, I'm sure. Magna has been shopping. Dewey has their library card. I mean, because the elderly owl lady would like you to come back, preferably alive. And Ignal has his coin counting. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us for Darkening Skylands Pathfinder. We will be back next week with more. I will be back tomorrow, hopefully, if I'm not, worse.
I will drag you and keep you medicined up, sir.
Yes, sure. Anyways, check out the website, zgfgaming.com. We've got links for our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, Patreon, all those things. They're on the website as well as down in the description below. Do consider becoming a patron over at patreon.com/zgfgaming. It's one of the best places to support the channel. And yeah, thank you to my patrons, donators, and subscribers. I cannot do this without you guys. But yeah, for now, I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Have a good night. Oh, Tamary God wanted me to say, hello, I'm a cartoon!